Hello, and welcome back to Let's Play The Elder Scrolls III Morrowind, Game of the Year Edition. In our last video, Fedar got to know more of the people of Seyda Neen, and he did some trading with Arrille here, which resulted in a pretty nice set of armor to be starting out with, and a tidy profit. Okay, let's talk to Tolvis Othralin.
I'm listening. Go ahead.
So, Fedar Mock, you're new to Seyda Neen, and you'd like some help finding your way around. Very sensible. Go ahead. Ask away. Looking for services? Some specific place? Someone in particular? Just need a little advice? Whatever it is, I'd be happy to help. My, she's very friendly. Thank you, Tolvis. Well, let's go down the list. She is a commoner. You know any rumors? My cousin claimed he saw a city in the water near Nar Mok. He's a drunkard, though, and spends too much time in the sun. Interesting. We'll have to keep that in mind. That sounds quite fascinating. Okay. Got any advice? We've heard that. Any secrets? That's new. If someone attacks you first, you have the right to defend yourself. If someone doesn't attack you first, you're going to break the law if you attack him. Okay. Makes sense. Your trade? We've heard about being a commoner. We know about the services here. We know about Solstheim, the two people in town that matter, and specific places, i.e. how to get out of here. Alright, thank you, Tolvis. And upstairs we've got...
Speak up.
Quite a place. Well, let's talk to Hriskar Flatfoot.
You look like you could use a friend, Outlander. Perhaps I can be your friend. I'd like you to help me recover some gold.
I'll ask about that in a second. I guess he is a member of the Imperial Legion. We've already heard all that from the guard in the Census and Excise warehouse. We've also heard about joining the Imperial Legion. And Solstheim, so the only thing we can talk to Hriskar about is recovering some gold.
That's right. See, I had a bad run of luck playing 9 holes and lost a bit of money. Normally, I'd be fine. We can usually keep some gold in our pockets just from the money the locals pay us for protection. But I know some of them are holding out on me, especially that little fetcher Fargoth. He's come up light the past couple of weeks when I've shaken him down. I know he's stashing it somewhere. I'd like you to find Fargoth's hiding place.
Fargoth's hiding place?
I know the little fetcher's got one somewhere in town, just not sure where yet. I've already gone through his whole house, so I know he's not hiding it there. I'd like you to find out where he's stashing his gold. If you can, I'll give you a share of the wealth. Are you up for it? Your journal has been updated.
You know, Fargoth mentioned that he was being bullied, shaken down, and having his stuff stolen, and obviously the Imperials had taken his family heirloom ring because it was in that barrel in the courtyard of the Census and Excise Office. By this point, it's pretty obvious that we're dealing with a classic case of a big guy pushing around a little guy. I think I'm going to say no. It does mean that we're going to miss out on a tiny bit of content, but that's not content that I want Fedar to be a part of, because it's just mean. So no, Hriskar, you can get somebody else to do your dirty work.
No? Well, I'll find someone else to do it then.
Your journal has been updated. Yeah, you do that. Bye, Hriskar. Bully.
Speak up.
And this is Raflod the Braggart. You know, he's being just as friendly as Tolvis Othralin was, so I'm not going to read all that out. Just read it. There's a lot to talk with him about, though. And he trains. What kind of training do you provide? Medium armor, long blade, That's helpful, but we're probably going to be okay in Longblade, at least for now. And block, which is also quite helpful, but I don't want to spend money on that. I'll just let that progress naturally. Alright, starting with his background. I'm Raflod the Braggart. I do a little of this, a little of that. Okay. Heard any good rumors? A friend of mine says you have to visit the House of Earthly Delights in Saran. Okay. Any advice? You will get slaughtered if you start acting like a warrior. Always sneak up to your target and take advantage of your stealth. Even a dagger is effective if used in the right way at the right time. Ah, okay. I hear ya. Stealth is definitely my thing. That's cool. Know any secrets? Always carry a jug of Sujama with you. That burst of strength and the ability to penetrate armor and deal serious damage will give you the one-time punch to face an opponent you normally can't handle. Sujama, huh? Well, if I find any, I will definitely keep it on hand. What can you tell me about Morrowind? Morrowind is the northeastmost province of the Tamrielic Empire, bounded on the north and east by the ocean, on the west by Skyrim, on the southwest by Cyrodiil, also known as the Imperial Province, and on the south by Black Marsh, also known as Argonia. Huh. Okay, thank you. What is your trade exactly? I'm a scout. I know places, people, plants, paths, wind, and weather. I serve as guide for travelers and traders, or work as advance guard and pathfinder for expeditions. I know the geography of Vardenfell and the various geographic regions. My best defense is stealth, sneaking past trouble, but I can fight bow or blade in various armor styles when the job requires it. Cool. You sound quite talented. Let's ask about those geographic regions. Vardenfell has 9 regions, each with their own plants and terrain. They're called the Ascadian Isles, the Ashlands, Azura's Coast, the Bitter Coast, the Grazelands, Molag Amur, Red Mountain, West Gash, and Shayogarad. Very good information. Let's ask about Vardenfell. Only recently open to settlement and trade, most of Vardenfell's population is confined to the relatively hospitable west and southwest coast, centered around the ancient city of Vivec and the old Great House district centers at Balmora, Aldrune, and Sadrith Mora. Okay. Tell me some more about the Bitter Coast. The salt marshes and hot swamps of Bitter Coast are uninhabited, with the only settlements found at the good harbors of Narmok, Hla-Od, and Seyda Neen. I've got a lot to ask about here. Let's just keep going from where we were. Let's ask about Shayogarad. Shayogarad is largely hostile and uninhabited, with 2 small villages at Aldredania and Dagon Fell. Okay. So tell me about Narmok. Narmok is a tiny island fishing village in the Bitter Coast region of western Vardenfell. Okay. How about Hla-Od? Hla-Od is a tiny isolated fishing village on western Vardenfell in the Bitter Coast region. A rough track along the River Odai connects Hla-Od with the town of Balmora. We need to go to Balmora at some point, so that is good to know. And you had also mentioned, well, here we are in Seyda Neen. Tell me about Seyda Neen. Most visitors from the Empire make landfall at the port of Seyda Neen, where they are processed by the Imperial Census and Excise Commission agents of the Coast Guard Station. All right. Cool. We filled in a lot of extra stuff here. Scouts are informative. Okay. So we had just asked about his trades. So now let's ask about services. That has not changed. We've asked about Seyda Neen and Shayogarad. And tell me about the Silt Strider, perhaps. Silt Striders carry passengers and cargo between settlements on Vardenfell. Fares depend on distance to be traveled. Silt Striders are giant insects. A compartment for passengers and cargo is hollowed from the creature's shell. The driver directs the beast by directly manipulating exposed organs and tissues. Silt Striders travel between Aldrune, Balmora, Seyda Neen, Saran, Nisus, Molag Mar, Mar-Gan, and North Landing near Vivec. Well, they've got quite a network there of giant freaking flea whales. Okay. Sounds good. What do you know about Solstheim? Same as everybody else? Yep, same as everybody else. And anybody in particular? Yeah, nothing new there. Specific place? Nope, that's also just about getting out of here. And we've asked about Vardenfell. Okay, well, thank you, Raflod. You've been very, very informative. Very helpful. Got a couple more folks in here to speak with.
You may
freely,
speak.
friend.
I'm going to talk to Tandrum and Dallin. Well, he's also very friendly. Thank you. I just mean friendly by this first blurb of text, not necessarily disposition. Obviously, he's a dark elf, so we're getting that 57 again. Cool. What's your background?
I am Tandrum and Dallin, Bard.
Okay. Know any rumors? That's the same old, same old. Any advice for me?
We see a lot of new faces like yours here in Seyda Neen. If you're hoping to stand out from the crowd, you need to practice a lot to improve your skills. And if you want to increase your general level of competence, focus on your major skills, the ones most important to your trade. That way, you'll advance more quickly. And another little tip newcomers forget. Always carry a little food so you can freshen up when fatigue gets you down. Eat a little, and you can feel your energy coming back.
Okay. Thank you. Know any secrets? We've heard that. So tell me about being a bard.
I am a bard. As an entertainer, I share songs and stories with patrons and peasants. As a scholar, I travel the world, speaking with people and learning the lessons of history and human nature. And because a good bard must experience adventure at first hand in order to present its drama effectively, I have learned to defend myself with the noble tools of medium armor and long blade, and have mastered minor mysteries of alchemy, enchantment, and illusion.
Wow. That sounds like quite a life for you there, Tandrum. Must be very interesting. Unfortunate about the medium armor, though. Yucky. Well, thank you for telling me about being a bard. And we know about the services here. And everybody hates Solstheim. 2 people in town. And how to get out of here. All right. I bid you farewell. Yes, you're next, Mr. Sniffles. Let's talk to Albicius Colalius. Also extremely friendly, but with only a 52 disposition. That's fine. Let's go down the list. Your background? I am Albicius Colalius, Battle Mage. Ooh, Battle Mage. That's kind of cool. Tell me about being an Imperial. Yeah, heard that. Know any rumors? Did you hear that some fool lost Mentor's ring in a tomb along the Bitter Coast, or so they say? No, I hadn't heard that. I don't even know what that is, but I'll keep an eye out for it. Any advice? And we just heard that from a Tandrum. Any secrets? Heard that. Tell me about being a battle mage. I am a battle mage. Though arrayed as a Western knight with heavy armor, axes, and long blades, my primary training is in the College of Alteration, the College of Destruction, and the College of Conjuration. To round out my education, I have mastered enchantment and alchemy. Potions made through alchemy or purchased from alchemists grant me the magics of the Restoration, Mysticism, and Illusion colleges. And can there be any more terrible master of the science of war than a battle mage? I think not. I don't know. I might give you a run for your money someday. I might. Any services around here that I don't know about? No, of course not. What do you think of Solstheim? Nothing. And no other people. And here's how to get out of here. Okay. Thank you. Nice meeting you. What do we have over here? Nothing. Sturdy arched door. It is quite locked, though, and I wouldn't want to try to get in there anyway because Fedar is definitely not sneaky enough to pull that off yet.
Well, I'm listening, so go ahead.
Let's talk to Elone. Oh, okay. I guess we know what the patrons think. Go ahead. You're not interrupting anything. I'm Elone, Scout. You need directions? Pelagiad, Balmora, Caldera, Ebonheart, Vivec. Wow. Yeah, sure, I'd like to hear about all of that. So we've got another scout here. I guess she's also been around. And she trains. What do you offer in training? Service refusal. You must have been misinformed. I don't offer services to the public. Huh. Interesting. Okay. That's a curious thing. I don't know who she's with, but, okay. Anyway, let's just go down the list because these are all in here now. So what's your background? I am Elone, Scout and Journeyman of the Blades. Ah, she's with the Blades. Okay, that makes more sense now. I know what that means, but Fedar probably doesn't, and you might not either, so I'm just going to leave that alone and ask about Balmora. Balmora is the district seat of House Hlalu and the largest settlement on Vardenfell after Vivec City. Good roads lead north from here to Balmora, passing through Fort Pelagiad and Pelagiad Village. From Balmora, roads lead north to Aldrune through the town of Caldera. Maybe I'd better write down the directions to Balmora for you. It's a long walk and a little confusing. Elone's directions to Balmora has been added to your inventory. Your journal has been updated. Why, thank you, Elone. I really appreciate that. That was very nice. Let's keep going down the list. Talk about the Bitter Coast. The western coast of Vardenfell from Seyda Neen north to Narmak is called the Bitter Coast. Okay, tell me about Caldera. Caldera is a recently chartered imperial town and mining corporation north of Balmora on the road to Aldrune. The Caldera Mining Company has been granted an imperial monopoly to remove raw ebony from the rich deposits here. Caldera is a new town, recently built in the Western Imperial style, and most of the citizens are outlanders and new colonists. Okay. Tell me about Ebonheart. Ebonheart is south on the road from Pelagiad, built on the western shore of the water-founded city of Vivec. Ebonheart is the seat of the imperial government for Vardenfeld District and a busy center of maritime trade. Castle Ebonheart is the home of Duke Vidam Dren, the district's ruler and emperor's representative. Also located at Castle Ebonheart are the Vardenfeld District Council Chambers and the Hawkmoth Legion garrison. The East Empire Company has its headquarters in Ebonheart. Oh my, there's a lot going on there. Okay. A lot more to talk about too, I think. Or maybe not. I thought so, but I'm wrong. Okay. We were at Ebonheart. Let's ask about the geographic regions. Do you have something different to say than Raflod the Braggart did? No, you don't. Heard that. Okay. How about Narmak? And we've heard that. Wow. A lot of topics now. How about La Ode? Nope. Heard that. Heard any good rumors? Nothing more than anybody else has heard. Any advice for me? Don't know anything about adventuring? Here's the basics. Travel light, run like a Kagudi. Don't go poking in holes unless you know what you're doing. Common sense. Yeah, that's common sense to you, but I don't even know what a Kagudi is. Got any secrets for me? We've heard that. Well, tell me about Morrowind. And we've heard that. And your trade. Yeah, you're a scout, so nothing new there. Let's ask about Pelagiad. Pelagiad is a newly chartered imperial village on the road north from Vivec to Balmora, right on the western edge of the Ascadian Isles region. The village is right outside the Imperial Legion garrison at Fort Pelagiad. The houses and shops are built in the Western Imperial style, and Pelagiad looks more like a village in the Western Empire than a Morrowind settlement. Sounds a lot like Caldera, just kind of rehashed. All right, that's cool. And the services around here? You don't have anything new to say about that. Tell me about Seyda Neen. The Lighthouse of Seyda Neen is a beacon to mariners throughout the inner sea. Oh, that's new. And if I were just to keep going down the list here, I would miss it. Tell me about the inner sea. The waters enclosed between mainland Morrowind and Vardenfell Island are called the Inner Sea. Yeah, and in fact, to expand upon that, Morrowind is not just this island that Fedar is on right now. It is not just Vardenfell. Morrowind is a pretty large province all the way to the east on the continent of Tamriel, and it's got plenty of territory on mainland Tamriel. Vardenfell is maybe only like about a third of it. And now you know. So we just asked about the Inner Sea after Seyda Neen. Let's ask about Shayogarad. Shayogarad Island and the countless nearby smaller islands and barren rocks are a desolate wilderness from the main island of Vardenfell into the Sea of Ghosts. Huh. We'll get to the... Well, no, we should ask about Sea of Ghosts now. The Sea of Ghosts is the name for northern waters lying between Tamriel and the northern continent of Atmora. Interesting. Okay, we just asked about Shayogarad. Tell me about Siltstriders. Nothing new there. How about Solstheim? Know anything about that? You don't. How about people around here? Nothing new there. How about getting out of here? Yeah, that's new. Pelagiad is the next town up the road. Cross the bridge out of town and just stay on the road. From Pelagiad, take the road north to Balmora and Caldera, or east to Ebonheart and Vivec. If you have the cash, and are in a hurry, or afraid of getting lost, take the Siltstrider to Balmora or Vivec. Speak to Darvaim Hlaren at the Siltstrider landing, across the bridge and south along the shore. And if you plan to travel widely, get a copy of Guide to Vardenfell from Arrille. It's got maps. That might not be a bad idea. We should look into that. Maps would be really cool right now. And I don't think anything she said here is new, so we'll just keep going. Tell me about Vivec. Vivec City is south on the road from Pelagiad. Vivec is the largest settlement on Vardenfell and one of the largest cities in the east. Built on Norvain Bay, completely surrounded by water, the city itself is a group of giant town-sized buildings called cantons. The High Fane and the Palace of Vivec are visited by hundreds of tourists and pilgrims daily. Outlanders mostly confine themselves to the foreign canton, while natives live, work, and shop in the great house compounds and residential cantons. Okay. Interesting. Spoiler alert, I hate that city. It's so confusing. I hate it. When we get there, I hate it. Okay, well, tell me about Vardenfell. Vardenfeld District encompasses Vardenfell Island, a great landmass dominated by the great volcano Red Mountain and cut off from mainland Morrowind by the surrounding Inner Sea. The portion of the Podomic Ocean lying north of Vardenfell is known as the Sea of Ghosts. There we go, that's more information about Vardenfell and how it relates to Morrowind. Okay, Podomic Ocean is new, tell me about that. The waters of the Podomic Ocean completely surround Tamriel. The continent of Akavir lies across the Podomic Ocean to the east, and the continent of Atmora lies across the Sea of Ghosts to the north. Alright. So we had just asked about Vivec and Vardenfell, and now how about Vardenfeld District? Vardenfeld District is one of the 6 administrative districts of the Imperial Province of Morrowind. Vardenfeld District consists of the island of Vardenfell, with its great house and imperial settlements and the city of Vivec, surrounded by the inland sea and dominated by the titanic volcano Red Mountain and its associated ash wastelands. Okay, wow, Elone is extremely informative. Wow. Okay, thank you. Goodbye. There's one thing, though. I want to see, did she say something different?
On your way.
Right.
What was that?
I don't know. I was talking to him, and I know I asked about Shayogarad. Okay, yeah, now he's saying the same thing that she did, but when I first asked him, he said something different. Just making sure. Ooh, something to read. What is this? This is a Tradehouse notice. Arrille's Tradehouse, port of Seyda Neen. Hereas at the general sessions of the peace held for the district of House Hlalu at the town of Balmora on the 16th day of first seed in the year of the reign of our sovereign King Hlalu Athen Lethen, by the grace of all gods, King of Morrowind, Duke of Mournhold and Hlalu Province, defender of the people and the law, loyal servant of the empire, etc., Arrille of the port of Seyda Neen aforesaid hath entered into recognizance with sureties before us his majesty's magistrates of peace within the said district, whose names are hereunder written. We therefore, his majesty's said magistrates, have hereby licensed and allowed the said Arrille to keep a common trade house, or corner club, in the house wherein he now dwelleth, in the port of Seyda Neen aforesaid, for 3 full years, from henceforth next ensuing, or till such other time as shall be by us, or some of our fellow magistrates thereunto appointed. Provided that if the said Arrille do not from time to time during that time well and truly observe the articles hereafter mentioned, then this license shall presently cease and be utterly void. First item, that the said Arrille shall not suffer any stranger or unknown traveler to lodge or stay in or about his house above 1 day and 1 night, without making the same known forthwith to the next bailiff or other officer of this town, to the end that the said stranger or unknown traveler may be examined by some magistrate of peace near adjoining. Second item, that he shall not suffer any playing at cards, tables, dice, bowls, 9-holes, or any other unlawful game, or any disorder or outrage in his house, orchard, garden, or backside, but shall keep good order and rule in his house. Third item, that he shall not suffer any neighbor's children, servants, or slaves to tipple in his house at all, nor any other to tipple in his house, otherwise than by the statutes are allowed. Fourth item, that he does not suffer any to tipple in hours of prayer or lesson on any emperor's or festival days, nor at any time after the 8th hour of night. Fifth item, that he shall not harbor any rogues, vagabonds, tradeless men, nor other suspicious persons in or about his house. Sixth item, that he shall not buy or take to pawn, or suffer to be bought or taken to pawn in his house, to his knowledge, any goods of any unknown traveler, or of any neighbor's children, or servants, or slaves, or of any man's wife, without the consent of their parents, masters, or husbands, respectively, and if any such goods be offered to sale or pawn by any stranger, he shall make the same known forthwith to the next bailiff or other officer of the town. Seventh item, that he does not sell his best drink above 4 drakes the gallon, nor the second sort above 2 drakes the gallon, nor suffer any ash fowl to be dressed or eaten in his house, or on any other victuals prohibited by the laws of this realm. Eighth item, that he shall not suffer any bawdry or criminal conversation in or about his house, nor shall procure or cause to be enticed any man to drink in his house until he shall be drunk or distempered with drink. Ninth item, that he shall not suffer any looting, drumming, or dancing in or about his house on any lesson day, nor in time of divine service on any sacred festival or holy day. 10th item, that he shall cause this license to be openly fixed up in the hall room of his dwelling house, to the end that every one may see what articles he is bound to observe. Dated the day and year first above written. Undersigned, Master Valanda Omani, Master Navina Ulez, Master Drom Barrow, Master Crassius Curio, Master Ingling Half-Troll. My goodness, that is some bureaucracy. Ugh. Poor Arrille. But hey, I mean, if that's what he wants to do, then yeah, then that's what he gets to do, I guess.
Head on.
I am. I think I'm out of here.
What is this about?
If you wish to talk, it is really no trouble at all.
No, I'm pretty talked out. You got a lot of fine folks up there. Very informative. Thanks, everybody. Phew. Okay. Ooh, off in the distance. You see that? See that? Very slowly moving. That's a mud crab. We'll get more familiar with them later. Okay. Well, there are a couple more people in Seyda Neen that we haven't met yet. So let's do that now.
Yes, Outlander?
Over here is the...
Anytime now.
Right. Here is the lighthouse. If we had taken up Hriskar's offer to... Oh, there's a mud crab. Little more up close. But yeah, if we had taken Hriskar's offer to mess with Fargoth, part of what would have happened is we would have gone in here, all the way to the top, which we will in a moment, and spied on Fargoth.
There's someone watching me. I can tell.
Yeah, because I intend to speak with you. This is the...
What is this about?
This is just about regular conversation. This is Thavir Vedrano. I'm Thavir Vedrano. Welcome to scenic Seyda Neen, gateway to Morrowind. Are you looking for someone in particular? Or do you just want a little advice? She's kind of refreshing. She doesn't have as much to say as all those other folks. Let's just go down the list. She's a commoner. Know any rumors? Nothing new. Any advice? Ooh. I can ask her about being a Dunmer. But anyway. Well, most Outlanders stick close to the Imperial Guilds and the Legions. But you might consider service in one of the Dunmer Great Houses. They aren't real fond of Outlanders, and you have to look around hard for a patron. Someone who will speak for you, help you advance to the higher ranks. But the Great Houses are where the real opportunities are. House Hlalu and House Redoran are pretty reasonable. House Telvanni, the Wizard House, they're another story. Well, let's ask her about being a Dunmer. We are the dark-skinned, red-eyed elven people of Morrowind. The Westerners call us Dark Elves, but we prefer to call ourselves Dunmer. Okay. Know any secrets? Nope, we've heard that one. And let's see, what about your trade? You are a commoner. Any services around here? No. No. Heard all this. Heard all that. Okay. All right. Well, thank you, Thavir, for the advice about the great houses. There's some interesting stuff here, I'm sure, but with her right there, tending the lighthouse, I don't think Fedar's going to be able to partake in any of it. And that's okay. Ooh, the Wraith's wedding dowry. Let's see if we can read that. You have gained knowledge from this book. Your unarmored skill increased to 6. Well, that's good. We're generally going to have armor on, though, so, whatever. How long is this book? Yep, that's some more reading for later. Okay. Again, there's a lot of text in Morrowind. There's going to be a lot of reading. We can check these barrels, though. She can't see, right? Yeah, we're hidden. There's nothing in that one. And nothing in that one. Boo. And that's grief. I'm just going to leave it there. I don't care. All right. Whatever. Ah, yes. Out here. Yeah, if we had taken up Hriskar's mean quest, we would see... It would have to be dark, but Fargoth would kind of creep around here, make sure no one's watching him, and then he would go put stuff right there. We can go look at that in a bit. Yeah, and then you go loot it and give it to Hriskar. There's that mud crab. And if you talk to Fargoth about it, he's none too pleased with you. Can't imagine why. Well, that was fun. Nice lighthouse. You can take fall damage, so I'm not sure I want to just jump from here. Although maybe we can land in the tree. Let's try it. Go, Fedar! Whoop. Not bad. I imagine that wasn't too graceful if anybody was watching. Like these folks, like, what is he doing? Yeah, what was that? I don't know what that was. I'm an acrobat.
Outlander, what do you want?
I want to impress everybody with my amazing Acrobatics skills, 35. In fact, that might have, you see how it's a 1 out of 100 progress right now? That little stunt might have been part of what made that happen instead of being a 0. Yeah. Yeah, let's look in here. It's probably empty. Hollow tree stump. Yeah, it's empty, because Fargoth hasn't put anything in there. Nor will he. It's not going to happen now. Oh, you know what? I forgot. Stuff has been going into the journal as we've been talking to people, and I have not been reading it. That is very bad. All right. We read this one, but I think that's it. So let's get caught up. 16th of last seed, day 1. I have heard rumors of an island to the north of Vardenfell named Solstheim. There is apparently an Imperial fort named Fort Frostmoth. 16th of last seed, day 1. I have been told that there is now a boat in Kuhl that offers transport to the island of Solstheim. 17th of last seed, day 2. I have met a Bosmer named Fargoth who claims the Imperials have stolen a ring of his. He would like it back. 17th of last seed, day 2. I have returned the engraved ring of healing to Fargoth. He was overjoyed to have it back and promised to mention my name to the trader here in town, Arrille. 17th of last seed, day 2. Hriskar Flatfoot asked me to do him a favor. He believes that Fargoth has been hiding money from the Imperials, and he'd like to know where it's gone. If I will work for him, he will give me a share of the bounty. 17th of last seed, day 2. I've decided not to help Hriskar. 17th of last seed, day 2. Elone at Arrile's Tradehouse gave me detailed directions to Balmora. Yeah, she did. Let's see. There they are. Let's take a look at those. Oh my. From Seyda Neen to Balmora by road. From Seyda Neen, leave the village by the North Bridge, then follow the road east past the Siltstrider port. East of Seyda Neen, the road heads northeast through the ridge and intersects a northwest-southeast road. Turn left, northwest, and pass the village of Pelagiad on your right. The road continues north, then swings northeast until it reaches a 4-way intersection. The road to Balmora turns left, northwest, and descends into Foyata Mamea, a deep volcanic ravine. The road follows the ravine northeast for a short distance, then turns left and climbs out of the ravine to the northwest. North of the ravine, pass Fort Moonmoth on the right, and come to an intersection with a signpost. Head due west towards Balmora. 2 small bridges cross the Odai River. On the west side of the river, go north, passing the Siltstrider port and entering the walls of Balmora. Mind the signposts and be careful. In bad weather or darkness, it is easy to stray from the road. Wow, Elone wasn't kidding. That is quite a trek. And that reminds me that I forgot to take a look at that book that Arrille might be offering. The one that has maps. I'm sure that would be nice to have. Let's barter. Oh, you know what? He won't trade.
An honor, to be sure.
He won't trade because of this stuff. Throw that back on the ground. I don't have any contraband. No, sir. Okay, it's probably under miscellaneous. Lives of the Saints. That's not what I'm looking for. You don't have it. You don't have the book that I was told you would have. I am disappointed, sir. Oh well. Oh well. Okay. We never really
Think it'll rain?
had any nice chats with the people in the Census and Excise Office. So let's do that now.
Speak freely, friend.
Hey, Celis. Your timing is excellent. I am looking for someone to lead a band of adventurers to Firemoth Fort. Well, we can ask about that in a moment. Just checking out the topics there. Okay, well, tell me about Firemoth. This Imperial fort offshore to the west was captured years ago by the undead horde of Grurn, who literally marched out of the ocean and overran the garrison there. The survivors were forced to leave behind the Ward of Akavir, and I'm looking for someone to lead a group to retrieve it. Are you up for it? Well, I don't want to go there right now. That sounds dangerous. No, not at this time. Not the answer I was hoping for. I hope you reconsider. I will at some point. Let's go down the list here, because we have spoken with him, but I think some of this stuff might be new, and yet it might not. Well, the Ward of Akavir is new, so tell me about that, Celis. It's an enchanted shield made from the skin of a dragon. The legions hold this priceless artifact in high regard. It must be retrieved from Firemoth Fort if we are to preserve our honor. Okay. Now we'll just blow through the rest of these. We know what he is. We know about Balmora. We know about Caius Cosades. And our duty. Yeah, you know your duties. Take that package to Caius Cosades in Balmora. You got it, boss. And we've heard about Firemoth. I'm not going to ask about it again because he'll just say, do you want to go now? And I'm going to say, no, I don't want to go right now. I'm proud to be an Imperial. Through our legions and rule of law, we've brought peace and civilization to the provinces of Tamriel. Okay, good for you. And the Imperial Legion. Heard about that and about joining. And how we would have to talk to General Darius in Fort Darius. We've asked about Morrowind, and he was like, yeah, of course you're here. And we know his trade. We know about the Siltstrider and Solstheim and the Empire and Uriel Septim. And we just asked about the Ward of Akavir. Okay. Yeah, just got to be thorough. There's a lot to keep up with when it comes to dialogue in Morrowind.
The blue plates are nice, but the brown ones seem to last longer.
Nah, stick with the blue ones, 'cause they're blue. Everything is so brown here already. Hi, Gansil Duar. How you doing? I'm an officer of the Imperial Legion. Move along. Ah, and I just realized this is the same Gansil who wrote that note to Hriskar about sharpening the dagger. I am Gansil Duar, guard and spearman of the Imperial Legion. Cool. What do you know about Firemoth? The undead rule it now. It was overrun many years ago. Once a strategic strongpoint guarding the inner sea, now it is an all but forgotten ruin. One of the funny things that can happen is this right here. He was just saying the word guarding, and he was referring to Firemoth, but guard is a key word for him, a topic, so now we can ask about it. And it's not going to be about Firemoth. Guards keep the peace and chase down criminals. Each district has its own guards. Legion troopers in Imperial districts, ordinators in Temple districts, Redoran, Hlalu, and Telvanni guards in their own Great House districts. Guards collect fines and compensation, or drag you off to prison if you can't pay. Let's ask about the fines and compensation. That's how we punish crimes in Morrowind. We collect fines, and compensation is paid to the injured party or his kin. Don't pay the fine? Then do hard labor. That is how that works. We had asked about Firemoth and Guard and Imperial. We know about that. The Legion. Joining it. Heard any rumors that nobody else has? Nope. Got any advice? If you're heading into the backcountry, always carry a couple of Restore Health, Restore Fatigue, Cure Disease, and Cure Blight potions with you. Wow. Morrowind is sounding pretty dangerous. I don't know about you. That's what I'm getting. Know any secrets? Well, we've heard that. And what do you think about Solstheim? Nothing. You think nothing about Solstheim. Okay.
Ah, hello. Did you want something?
Hi, Socucius. I just wanted to chat. I'm fine, thank you. What can I do for you? Wow, he doesn't really have a lot that he wants to talk about with Fedar, does he? But that's fair. He's probably like, Look, I was really patient with you when you first came in, and I watched you turn into a whole bunch of different races and talk to an invisible audience about starting attributes and sexual dimorphisms and... Look, it was pretty creepy. Not gonna lie. I'd like it if you would just go. Alright, well, tell me about the Imperial Legion. The Imperial Legion provides security for the Census and Excise Offices here in Seyda Neen. The troopers you see here are assigned to guard duty here, and the troopers outside, in Seyda Neen, they're guards, officers of the law. Alright, tell me about Morrowind. Yes, this is Morrowind. You're in the Census and Excise Offices in the port of Seyda Neen, in Vardenfeld District of the province of Morrowind. Cool. What do you know about Solstheim? You don't know anything about Solstheim. That's fine. That's okay. I'm gonna go. Out here. No, I'm not. That door is locked. Okay. Never mind. Not going through that. Okay.
Yes?
Just passing through. And there's a tiny bit more to see here in Seyda Neen. Those are homes. I thought they might have been like guard posts or something, but they are homes.
I'm listening.
You have my attention.
I don't know. If I were living in Seyda Neen, I would want my home clustered with the rest of them back there. This just feels like, I don't know, like it's open for attack by bandits or some kind of raiding party. Frontier living. But anyway, this is Drawrin Theralis' house.
Mathera.
Hi there, Drawrin. Let's talk to you.
Welcome to Seyda Neen, stranger. Is there some specific place you're looking for?
No. Let's just go down the list. He's a commoner. We've heard about being Dunmer. Any rumors? Nothing new. Any advice? We've heard that. Any secrets? We've heard that as well. And you are a commoner. And the rest of this stuff. Got all that. Okay, well, thank you, Drawrin. And lastly... here's Fargoth's house. I guess, Hriskar's probably rummaged through that recently, which is awful. Really should get a better lock. 25. Fedar could probably pick that and go take a little looky-loo for himself if he wanted, but, I don't want to do that. There's, Fedar's got a code. He'll sneak into some stuff and steal some stuff, but not other stuff. Well, here's the Great Wilderness, apparently. Very interesting, and yes, there's that mud crab just calling out to us. And I think we'll answer that call in the next video. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you then.